Hi, this is Deconversion Therapy Podcast, and I'm Karen.
I'm Bonnie.
And just to repeat for people who are newish, a few things you can do is go to deconversiontherapypodcast.com. We've got something revamped there, and you can get in the search bar and see if we've covered something that you're wanting covered. Plus, we have a little place where you can also say, hey, have you covered this yet? I suggest you look into it or whatever. We don't do everything. We don't do trauma. We try not to do gross, spiritual.
Or drama.
What?
Or drama.
Yeah. Any
no
kind
trauma or really drama.
We don't do anything that is needs professionals in any way to be covering it. So Bonnie and I have known each other forever, and she really wanted to get to know me when she was 1. So her grandparents...
Yeah, the word on the street was the kid 2 houses away was the same exact age.
So you're going to be friends because we're all too cheap to drive twice. We're going to make you ride in the same one. If there's a smoker driving, the windows are going to be rolled up tight. And there's going to be a lot of 8
in the
tracks.
Heat of Florida.
Yeah, a lot of 8
Can't
tracks.
let the air condition out.
So we've known each other forever, and we both deconstructed from the evangelical church, probably 1 or 2 decades apart, actually. But we sort of ended up in the same spot. And you know what I was going to say the other day is, for people who are deconstructing, hopefully this ridiculous, useless podcast at least teaches you that you don't have to throw everything out. Like, there are good things about the time in the church. Maybe it's a lesson, a friendship, a funny memory, and being able to pull those out and categorize them and say not everything was bad is, frankly, I think it's a sign of maturity.
Well, even things that had biblical terms like quiet time. Guess what? It's really nice to take time away from your family or the chaos of work and have quiet time where you read or you study something that is not necessarily about work.
Or you do tarot card
it could be
reading.
Spiritual.
You can meditate. No, I totally agree.
Yeah. Meditation is great.
We call that at our home, mommy's in a bad mood. And that's, so I meditate for hours.
Oh my gosh. The woman who I work with, I think that she's getting sick of being home alone so much with the COVID thing. So she's constantly trying to attract me to stick around longer when I go to her apartment.
Right.
She's like, don't you want a cup of coffee? I'm like, let me tell you right now, and this has nothing to do with the podcast, but why I don't want a cup of her coffee. Did I ever tell you this?
No.
One time she was pointing to a bottle of water on her countertop, and she said, is that your water? And I said, no. And she said, huh. And so she thought that if it was her water, it would be okay if she put that water from a water bottle into her Keurig coffee maker and then make the coffee with bottled water like that. And I was like, are you in the habit of putting water that you've sucked on the cap of a water bottle into your Keurig, and then you're going to offer me your spitty coffee?
Does she?
And so
I need to picture her mouth, though. Is she like...
No, you don't.
I mean, is she the kind that has hot pink dry lipstick on? And that's what I just envision.
She puts lipstick on frequently, and she has a lot of colors. You know how you sometimes gravitate to just one? She's the person who will use the samples that you get with the Estee Lauder free gifts.
Those aren't bad.
Where you're like, no one's going to use coral. Yeah, they will. Okay, so we're not sure where this episode will be airing in the lineup of our episodes, but I will tell you this, as of today, and probably for another few months at least to come, Rafael Nadal now is tied with Roger Federer for the all-time number of Grand Slam wins at 20.
I saw that.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, well, you didn't say anything about it.
You know
That's why
what?
earlier today I said, is that all you have to say to me?
Oh, I didn't know
Like
you were
16
talking about
candles.
that. I'm sorry.
That's it?
I was very busy.
You didn't congratulate me?
Doing our podcast stuff. No, but I did tell. So my husband was watching it and he was texting you. And then I said, do not text her if he loses. And he's like, really?
Oh.
I'm like, no, I'm serious. Don't do it. Don't be like, oh man, that was so close. I'm like, that's not what she's going to want to hear. So
What would I have wanted to hear?
I would assume you would want to have a little bit of a cushion of time between his defeat and my husband, you know, going, oh, wow, that was close anyway. Yeah.
Anyway.
Right. Doesn't mean much.
I needed some quiet time.
You did.
But I didn't need quiet time because it happened. And so it's very nice to have something that all these fans are so into all over the world. Like, I know that if I went to Singapore and I landed in jail, I could probably call this person who I've become friends with on Twitter, and she might help me out. Maybe not.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
but I like to think she would.
You're just like, it's me.
It's me. But it's really cool to have something global happening live that's a positive thing, because so many things happen globally that are negative. And you can think of, like, we were all glued to the TV with 9/11. We were glued to the TV when John F. Kennedy Jr.'s plane went down. But it's not that frequent that it's something happy and bubbly and positive. So I was going to tell you, did you ever do this thing with popular songs where you would add in like your own version to make it a Christian kind of song?
Yes.
You'd add in like lyrics of your own?
Yes.
But not through church.
Okay. I don't know if I did it myself. No.
Okay, well, I used to do it. I heard the one that I had always done today on the radio. It was by Anne Murray. I think she's Canadian. And it's for Could I Have This Dance for the Rest of My Life?
Yeah.
And oddly, when I Googled it, it said song by Amy Grant and Anne Murray.
Weird.
I didn't know that. So one of the lines is, I'll always remember the song they were playing the first time we danced and I knew. So I used to sing to myself, I'll always remember the song they were playing the first time you walked among men. That's right.
And that operatic voice, too. You were 10.
Well, she's got such an earnest
She does.
Voice like that.
Yep.
And then I used to take a Partridge Family song where the lyrics were something like, I'm on my way back home, and I would attribute it to being, on the way back to heaven. What the hell?
We were like, we were brainwashed. I remember, of course, them taking ones. And then, but I don't remember any of that. And I remember when we went to our Southern Baptist College, I was just thinking about this. So we had at one point a president who saw himself as some kind of singer. And he had a favorite song, and it was unpleasant. We'll just leave it at that. And so
you always remember it and I don't. So
the balm of Gilead. There's a balm in Gilead. And
not BOMB.
And that's the thing. When I found out it was BALM, I only knew of lip balm, so I still didn't ever get it. And I'm like, who's in Gilead? It just one of those things where he must have been like, this is good for my range. But
Yeah.
he would sing it way too many times. So whenever there were guest singers, we were thrilled. We were just like, ooh, here comes someone. And how many times we were disappointed in just, and it didn't even have to be singers. They might be like, oh, we're bringing in this magician or we're bringing in this person
Magician.
to do
Satan's work.
That's right. We're bringing in this person, I don't know what they're going to do. But how many like terrible things we sat through politely
Yeah.
and like
Right.
nodded to give them encouragement. I think maybe that's why Christian music is so bad. Is we've just all been programmed to nod and encourage people that might not really be good, and at the same time we learn to accept this is as good as it's going to get. So we might as well.
It's because if you think about it, performing for people in church is just like performing for your family.
Yeah.
A big, supportive, dumb family.
Yeah.
That's awful. Strike that. Yeah, so I was just going to tell you when I heard that song, like I used to add Jesus thoughts to some songs. It's very strange.
It's starting to get chilly out.
Yeah, Florida dipped to like 75, but we maintain 94 humidity. Don't worry.
Well, we've heard everyone's prayers, obviously, and we have new sweatshirts, caps, water bottles.
Oh, and there's a camp mug, which is really cool. I like the shape of that. And a bandana for your dog. I mean, I guess for you too.
And it's all at our shop. So think of this as tithing, but you're actually receiving results.
That's unusual. So we have got Pride-inspired logos, Don't Be a Shit Pile, and the Demon Pine Cone on different products.
And all of the products are for a limited time. More will rotate in, and these will rotate out.
So if you want to go to deconversiontherapypodcast.com, it's really easy to find the different parts of the website. Just click on the shop.
Thanks so much for supporting the podcast.
What were we going to talk about today? Things that we found randomly while you were surfing the net?
Yeah, so we're starting a new little tradition, and this one is what freaky shit is out there on the internet. And of course, we know that there's plenty we don't want to touch, as in, do not Google cornhole. If you want to learn how to make the game or play it, just put on the parental parameters before doing that. But, there's stuff that's out there that is entertaining Christian stuff. So we found some, and every once in a while we'll do this. And that's when you can send in, if you find like something crazy out there, go ahead and send it in on our website, and we'll take a look at it and cover it in a future episode of Deconversion Therapy. All right.
So speaking of cornhole, did I mention on a previous episode that when things were really in shutdown mode, they had the cornhole championships on ESPN2?
Oh,
it might have been ESPN1.
I think you did, or you at least told me.
I told you. Championships. And so on tennis the other day, they finally said, "Oh, I'm so glad that we have live tennis instead of cornhole championships." Like, oh, someone else noticed. You sent me something that had some pretty decent graphics that looked like a video game.
Really?
And it was Warrior Bride International Gathering of Warriors.
Yeah. And it's .org, so I want everyone to realize that. Because if they go to .com, no, I don't know.
Is there one?
I don't.
For .com?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So I was like, oh, God, what is this? Gamers? Or,
it looks like,
fake.
To me, the graphic looks like the cover of a dystopian, novel for young adults or teens. It's got that sort of mystical graphic with someone holding a sword and all that.
Right. And so on the main page, there's a sword going through the B of bride. And then there's a lady in a headdress praying with her eyes closed. And then there's a guy in one of those head chain pieces, those chains that I guess somehow protect a sword from going through your flesh.
I'm looking for
Do you
that
know what I
picture.
mean?
He's
Do you know
wearing
what are those chains called?
chainmail?
What's chainmail?
Oh, I see it. It's chainmail. Yeah,
That's called chainmail?
I think so.
Is that a word? That's interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. I love learning things from you, who actually reads stuff.
I've read this
Then
dystopian novel.
there's a man. Yeah, there's a man in the chain headgear, and then the girl on the right. Her outfit's got some chain stuff on the side too, and her hair is long and blonde and has some braids stuck in there. Then to me, it looks like maybe they decided, oh, well, we better put a black person in here for good measure. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just being shitty and catty. So there's a black person with her arms up praying to God.
Well, it's definitely it looks like an advertisement for a show on Stars. That's what it is exactly.
Yeah, it looks like they're going, Game of Thrones was a thing, so let's
Right.
throw together some swords and symbolism. So that's the original graphics. And then down below it says, raising up a new generation of warriors that will follow Jesus Christ into spiritual victory through prayer. Then it gives a Bible verse, not going to read it. And then it says, we've been waiting just for you, standing together, unified. Prayer is what unifies the body of Christ. Intimate prayer at local churches. Connecting through miles of separation through prayer calls. Joining hearts through fellowship. Then it says God is impacting people as they are healed and set free. And you know what's right below that? This is the first page. Donate today.
Of course.
Oh.
That's
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
That is on the front of so many of the ones that I research. Any of the Christian things, whether it was like Carmen or someone sent me something about some other weird pastor guy, and it's just his name and a donate button.
Yep. Boop. Donate today. Okay, so you don't think to click on the middle. If you don't want to donate, you don't click on what's above that. And then down below it says, what is Warrior Bride? With the R that looks like the S font.
Yep.
So it's got a picture of this woman's bustier and her hands. And what I don't think is the right quite fit of a wedding gown, but then at the same time, like, what are you going to do? Get a properly fitted wedding gown for your graphics with your sword?
Right. And
it's
all
kind
of
of big on her arms.
The models in it are young, and they do look like professional actresses models. They're not. I saw the pictures of the people in this organization, and this is not an accurate depiction.
So it says Warrior Bride is about shaking the gates of hell and making the devil run. So you click on the lady holding the sword, and then it takes you to she's like kneeling down at the sword, and her leg, her knee is like
it's exposed.
showing. It's exposed. Man. Yep. And it's powerful, anointed, destined, and then what is Warrior Bride? And then being in God's presence, finding your place. But none of those things you can click on. Oh. And it's just, you keep going through here, and it's a little vague and ambiguous, and it just seems like a little bit of gobbledygook. I can't really quite figure out. Then they throw in a big Bible verse, and then they've got her holding her sword like a baseball bat.
Yeah, she's
got a mean look.
Right. I mean, she's a warrior, and that's all you need to know. And it talks about standing up to the wiles of the devil. But the whole thing is it takes like middle-aged, out-of-shape women and gives them this toxic positivity and fake strength. Like, read this Bible verse, and you don't need to, do any push-ups because now you're stronger than you've ever been. The whole idea, this is what started coming out for men in the evangelical church, and I guess a woman's like, we're going to get in on that too. The whole warrior thing, all the military sort of imagery in the Bible and all that, we're powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to the damn Frank Peretti book, This Present Darkness, where it's this fiction book and it has, quote, real angels and demons fighting in the clouds whenever, like, someone's soul is going to be lost or gotten or whatever. So,
Well, and in here it says, whether we like it or not, we are in a fight. And the Bible says to fight the good fight of faith. And, we have our armor. We have our two-edged sword. That must be the Bible. And the outcome's up to you. And it says, are you going to fight for your family, your health, your finances, your schools, your communities, your church, your friends, your country? Take up your sword. And you're not alone in your battle. But then it doesn't say where to go for a chapter. It just says apply today.
Where do you get the sword? That's probably why people are like, let's just get a gun instead. Well, I saw the application, so I guess any of you out there can apply to be a state president. One, it is required that you speak in tongues. That's, I think, number 1 or 2. But the other one, number 6, it says the candidate must be seasoned in spiritual warfare with the ability to recognize and discern onslaughts of the enemy while appropriately identifying the level of attack which the enemy has initiated. So now I'm wondering if they have a chart, a color code, or a 1 to 5, and they call like each other, this is a 3 attack, or this is a 2.
Okay, well, I didn't find any of these chapters. And if she was the founder of this and that they were founded back in 2011, have the chapters ceased to exist or what? So I went back to the front page and realized you could click on the big country where the stars were. And so if you click in the middle, it takes you to a different website for iccmworldwide.org. Did you go to there?
I know what ICCM is, but...
Do you? Because I didn't.
Well, again, you're too busy making up your own hymns.
It is the International Congress of Churches and Ministers.
Yeah.
And its founder is her husband, Michael Chitwood.
Michael Chitwood is a well-known name.
So I Googled Chitwood, and in Tennessee, there in Chattanooga, there is a company called Chitwood and Chitwood. So I'm going to read you some of the reviews from Chitwood and Chitwood. Here is a 1 out of 5 review that says, this organization is shady. They hide behind the pretense of glorifying God. The owner is a full-blown narcissist. People are dispensable to him, including his blood and family. It's an extremely sad situation.
Oh, man.
So this person gave them a 1.0 out of 5. When I was hired, I thought I was working for a Christian company that did accounting work. What I found out was that I was working for an accounting company that simply did business for Christians. I was truly hurt by the behavior of some of the women in my department. I felt management thinks they're better than the typical employee. Took me a long time to forgive them. And then other people say it was a pressure cooker. There was a lot of overtime. There was no vacation. And then one person here is like, gossip and lies go around constantly. It's a difficult work environment to succeed. The owner is volatile and will explode at any minute.
Wow.
I just think that people who want to represent Jesus in the work environment should probably be better.
Well, let me just...
Is that too much?
It is way too much. So I just want to tell you some things I found about Michael Chitwood on Facebook just now. And he is the kind of guy who at 8 hours ago posted a picture that he got from someone else of the clouds with a very discernible picture of Jesus, somehow traced by a kid or something to make it look like a cloud. And it says, say something when you see him, with hands up. Like, click this if you can see Jesus in the clouds. But now he has started, and I like how he keeps it really covert, so you're not sure what it's about. wealthyplacechurch.org. Wealthy Place Church. I
Yeah.
can't. It's crazy.
And do they still have their 8.5 million worship and religious training center in Chattanooga? They took an old Circuit City and transformed it. And he said he wanted it to be fancy because he didn't want people to come in and not feel or feel like they were in a place of poverty, but, focus on wealth.
Right. Yes, it is a Sheraton. Is that what you said?
No, it was a Circuit City that they
Okay.
transformed. So it was a giant location. And they actually literally built it with Bibles in the wall. So
Oh,
they implanted
nice.
900 Bibles in the metal wall studs and the ceilings, and and they put 100 more in the concrete sidewalks, so they can literally say that you're surrounded by the Word of God.
Oh, I get it. Nice.
Right.
Well, on one of his things, it says that join us for our grand opening, and it's the Sheraton Suites in Fort Lauderdale. So he also has parrots, and he says, I love my parrots, period. South Florida, period. Does
Oh
anyone love my
God.
birds? Question mark. That's it. I don't understand
Why?
how those go together. I don't know what's happening.
It's like there's an express train that goes from Tennessee to Florida with you and me and the crap that we find. How come South Florida? Well, because we have no state income tax. And the deal in Florida is if you own a home and your business it has a lien put against it,
Yep.
they can't take your home away from you.
Yeah.
So that's why shady ass people always come down here, O.J. Simpson.
With the Warrior Bride stuff, I looked up just the Warrior Bride on Facebook, and it's exactly what you would think it is. Someone posts, amazing things are coming your way. Hold on. And the emojis are like the shocked face. And someone responds and says, Amen, I received this, which is such a name it and claim it crappy thing. Someone else says, and this is the frustrating argument that makes me want to beat up people. When the Lord starts blessing, the devil starts messing. And then someone responds, if the devil's not bothering you, you're not bothering him. As in, you're no threat to
You're
him.
not doing your
That's
job.
right. So if the tax people come after you, or if you lose an election, or if they come and chase you down because you were at the Rose Garden and got infected probably with everyone else, then that is the devil is trying to mess with you because you're such a threat. You haven't done anything wrong. There's no cause and effect going on.
Okay, here's another one. I looked him up on Facebook as we were talking.
Yeah.
Here he is. Potential church live, South Beach. What is the South Beach connection? Is there a Jerry Falwell Jr. commercial happening here?
I don't know.
Is he investing?
He's
God.
definitely got he's got the teeth for South Beach and the tan.
Oh,
and he lives like in a big place. I don't even understand, but anyway, but they're at the Sheridan Inn. Just go down there, jump in. And this Warrior Bride thing, they have the Warrior Princesses. So if you've got a little girl, she's got somewhere to go to while the men are talking about their tax breaks. So that's convenient. But
Oh, so you
really,
found warrior princesses?
yeah, I can't see. It's somewhere on here. Yeah, if you go up
Oh,
and
princess warriors.
there,
Okay.
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Oh my God, I hadn't seen that before.
And
So
the other,
there's a lady holding a tiny little Welch's girl,
right.
Welch's jelly model child.
And that's the thing. And they're all like, everyone's got their eyes closed. So looking peaceful, but maybe they should open them. I wonder what came first, this kind of televangelist or QVC, because it is the same look. It's the same gold watch, done nails, standing behind a counter thing and talking and selling. And I know we talked about that before. I can't remember which pastor. I think it was Robert Tilton. He was staying up late and then he watched an infomercial and got an idea of how he could do a church like that. But I mean, it's the exact. You put this woman on, I think she'd do better on HSN.
Yep.
And totally, she could be, old bony fingers with a big tourmaline on her finger ring selling for $2.95, and people would love it. It fits her perfectly. Just all of the warrior imagery has made me exhausted. Just thinking of all that output.
All that war.
And just praying nonstop for things that are going to happen or not happen. I'm so glad that I don't believe like that anymore. Because, I mean, I like to waste my hours of day doing either jack shit or watching something. I mean, I used to just do this stuff.
You mean quiet time?
Quiet time, then I would pray below my breath all day. Like I'd either be singing or praying in my head as much as I could. If I was parking somewhere, I would not pray for a parking spot because, of course, that was those ridiculous Christians who did that. I would just walk by cars and pray for the people who own them to be blessed or maybe come to know Jesus.
Aww.
Yeah, it sounds...
That's nice. Well, you can still think that.
Well, I don't want them to come to know Jesus.
You can still want that for people. Not blessed per se, but
I think it's just...
you can still want the best for people.
Of course. But I don't want to be thinking about that all the time because it happens or it doesn't happen. I think it just would be so exhausting to keep this up and do it all the time. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for us. We have a few more things we've found on the web that we're going to share with you in the future weeks. But until then, pick up your sword.
Pick up your sword, put on your wedding dress, and go to a professional photo shoot at the mall.
Yep. And see you next week. Goodbye.
Au revoir.